Good morning, class, and welcome to your virtual course. My name is Dr. Araipour, and if you have a hard time pronouncing my name, you can call me Dr. A. I sent you several emails regarding the course already, and some students have already started with their assignments. So when you go to the home page, let me just make a couple of changes. I have put a bunch of numbers, so basically you follow the numbers. So for now, let me put this in student mode. So number one, there is a welcome message. I have a short video message welcoming you to the course. Number two is the class philosophy. Let's quickly look at that. So this is the class philosophy, everybody. So we can look at this quickly.
Class philosophy. This class is a community and therefore, we all have the same objective, to learn. Online students often feel isolated, but it is vitally important to know you are not in this alone. I would like each of you to approach our online class with a great attitude and a willingness to help one another. Many problems and questions can be resolved by asking a fellow student. I am always here to help you, but I truly believe your experience will be more fruitful if you communicate with your fellow students as well. Let us work together to make this a memorable semester for each and every one of us. Course objectives. The primary objectives of our Survey of Calculus 1 course include the foundational principles of calculus, an integral branch of mathematics that delves into comprehending rates of change and accumulation. The principal aim of this course is to familiarize students with the fundamental concepts and techniques of calculus, which form the bedrock for grasping alterations and deviations in diverse fields. The course will be structured around several key focal points, encompassing the exploration of fundamental concepts of analytic geometry, the study of limits and continuity, and the exploration of differentiation and integration pertaining to algebraic and trigonometric functions. Additionally, the course will engage with real-life applications from the realm of life sciences, showcasing various interpretations of derivatives and integrals. These applications will span topics such as maximum-minimum problems and optimization, linearization and difference equations, sequences, sequential limits, as well as antiderivatives and integrations. Instructors' contact information. Email me via Canvas or use the email address era.araipour@csulb.edu, and I reply from Monday to Friday within 24 hours.
Going back to the home page, number three, announcements. Under the announcements, you find a few that I have sent them to you already. In other words, if you for any reason miss any of the emails, you can find it under the announcements. So it's announcements/email. I want to make sure that you receive that one way or another. Okay. And you've received all of those regarding the orientation and the way we conduct the course and everything else. Number four, right here. I'm going to quickly go over that and then we will cover them one by one. So we have the syllabus, modules, where we have the practice test, PowerPoints, solve practice test, homework, quiz, discussion forum, exams. Again, this is the office hours, everybody. We don't want to mix them up. This is the office hours. At the bottom, you see the office hours for this semester, 7 to 8 a.m. daily, every day. However, your Zoom meeting right here as it mentions, on the left navigation bar right here, it says Zoom meeting. You click on it. and join the session. So please don't mix them up. So Zoom meeting here is for the class. Zoom meeting at the bottom of the home page is the office hours. So the next one is the syllabus. So let's quickly cover that one. So two things you find under the syllabus. One is the Excel calendar and one is the syllabus. I'm going to quickly show you the Excel calendar. All of this, you can find them right here. And it shows you basically what we are going to cover, the sections and so forth, okay? For example, the first one will be covered next time. And this is the actual syllabus. So I'm going to quickly go over it. Bear in mind, nowadays, the syllabi are very large. So I have put them in the form of a topic. First, it gives you the section number, the time, the Zoom meeting, you're already here. And here's the topic I'm referring to. If you don't want to go over the entire thing, you can pick a specific topic, for example, grading policy. So quickly, and again, you can go back to it with more details. The material we use, okay, everything is free, OER, Open Educational Resource, the course description, course goals, the text, and I will show you where to find it. You can click on the URL here, but when we go to my Open Math where we do our homework, I'll go over the text as well. Here's the calendar. Roughly every 3-4 weeks we have an exam. I have set up all your exams for Saturdays. Okay, so it will be a day that you're relaxed and you can do a good job and you get the best grade possible. The final exam is the only exam that has a specific date set up by the campus, and I have the date here, okay, and we will remind everybody as we get closer to it. So every lecture, of course, takes place online. Calculators. You may use a scientific calculator for the exam, not a graphing calculator. However, I've put a list of free online calculators because I truly believe students shouldn't pay for anything, including a calculator, in case you need it. Tech support for the publisher, for the Canvas, and so on. There is a math tutorial center available free for the students. You can find the information here. The grading policy, there are 4 exams, 400 points. The homework is worth 300 points and it consists of 3 parts. The homework, the first part is introduction to my Open Math. We're going to get started with that today. Algebra review, and then we have the quizzes. And as far as the homework is concerned, you have multiple attempts. As far as the quizzes are concerned, you don't. And that's 100 points. Final is 300 points. Total of 1,000 points. This is a point system. Okay. And so I want to discuss that one first. 1,000 points total. So 90%, that means 900 and above is an A. 80%, that means 800 and above is a B. So on and so forth. Also, your lowest grade before the final may be replaced by the final exam, as long as the following holds true. Number one, it has to be a good grade, meaning the final must be at least at B, 80% or higher. Homework and quizzes both must be high at 95%. Otherwise, there won't be any changes. And more importantly, this action should result in a higher letter grade. For example, if you happen to have a B, and I'm making this up, at total of 830 points, and then doing all of that gives you 850 points, you're still at B, so it makes no difference. Test and makeup policy, basically there is no makeup test unless you let me know in advance. And again, you have plenty of time on Monday of the the week of the exam. On Monday, you receive information about the exam. Every exam has a password, will be sent to you, and you can find it under the announcements. And so you have an entire week to take the exam, or you can wait until the due date, which is a Saturday. Course late work, basically 10% penalty. There is no late work for the first couple of work as well as the last part. So that means the introductory assignment, algebra review, and the last module. CSU will be study 36 indicates we need 3 times the number of units to do well in a class. So for this class, we need minimum of 9 hours a week outside the class. And then we have more information regarding dropping, class withdrawal, CSUAB commitment, and so on. So there's a lot more here, class. But I went over the important part for as far as I think like grading policy and text and so forth. And summary steps to success. Read your notes, carefully studying the lecture PowerPoints, creating a formula sheet, doing the examples, do the homework and quizzes, and get ready for the exam. Again, the office hours, you can find it at the bottom of the homepage of Canvas as well as right here. Okay. And these are some information about the semester. So the day that the campus is closed and so on. Going back to the homepage. Now, after the syllabus, we have modules. Basically, you can find everything under the modules. But before I discuss the modules, I want to show you the discussion forum. You can click on it right here or on the left navigation bar. Discussion makes no difference. I'll put a couple of them. Number one, I put the student bio. I put mine as an example, and I highly recommend you do that so your fellow students get to know you. Okay, that would be nice. And if anybody wants to answer and reply to a fellow student, please, just with utmost respect. Okay, so always have, respect for your fellow students with encouraging words. That'd be wonderful. Frequently asked questions. Before you send an email, read this. This takes 2 minutes of your time to read it. For example, how to use a math editor, course ID. Okay. Click on the first stop. I'll tell you where to find that. It explains it here. I'll go over that in a moment. Also, you don't need it because it's set up through Canvas. Publisher support, Campus Tech support, access to expired homework. Everything is explained here. And where to find the exam password. Here's the one that we get it every time there's an exam, and I have no idea why. But as I've mentioned, the passwords, okay, can be found under the announcements. Okay. For example, for exam 1, the topic is exam 1, information about exam 1, and the password. However, this will be emailed to you in case you missed that. The final exam is different. You have to show up to our meeting, and that's when you take the final, and I give you the password as well. Going back to the homepage. Again, as you can see under the modules, pretty much we find everything. So now it's time to go over the modules. On the left navigation bar or right here where it says module, makes no difference. So modules. First, I want to tell you what you find there. Okay. Starting at the very top, you find this one, which is your My Open Math access. Okay. And you don't need a course ID. The next one is the recorded lecture. We come back to this at the end because I want to go over how your digital homework works, although some students have already started. Over here, you find the recorded lectures and so forth. So as you can see, this is for the previous semester and even older ones. We will have a new one here, right here. I will put it, but for now, if you go to spring 2025, you have all the lectures. Everything that you want is there. Okay, everybody? So I want you to know that. But we will put the new ones in. So going back to the modules, again, the first one is where you do your online homework, quizzes, as well as taking the exams. Then after that, you see exam 1 module, exam 2 module, exam 3 module, exam 4, and final exam. What do you find there? I go over one of them and the rest of them repeat. And after that, you see some information about graphing calculators in case you need it. I'm going to show you what you find there. First and foremost, access to various calculators online, and sometimes it may be a little bit difficult to make it work, but you have access to various online calculators, and of course some commands and so forth. So that's the very last. So when I explain exam 1 module, the rest of it following the same manner. So the very first thing you see is the exam 1 review, and one might ask, why is that? Let me show you why. This takes a couple of minutes of your time. I have the synopsis of what is being covered for the first exam. So if you go over that, and it takes 3 to 5 minutes of your time, you don't have to do any of them, just look at them in the beginning. This is what is basically covered for the first exam. That's why I put that first. What comes next? Exam 1. This is everything you need as far as the PowerPoints. Now, please understand, the PowerPoints are here. You can download them. And why did I put them here? You don't have to write any definitions, any questions. Then what do you have to write? Solution to every example from A to Z is discussed in class. We go over them from A to Z. So what happens is that because you have access to the PowerPoint, you don't have to write anything. It saves a lot of time. Please make sure you know where to access it. And please make sure you don't have to waste your time writing this stuff. Just pay attention when I lecture. And then as we come across the examples, we do them together to learn better. And the last one, again, exam 1 module. The first one was the review. The second one was all the PowerPoints. What is this one? This is the PowerPoint, which is the solution to get you ready for the exam. Solution to that practice test with every step included. So, in short, we are concerned with exam 1 module only. What do we find there? Number 1, we find the exam review. Number 2, we find the PowerPoints. Number 3, we find the solution. And this, we will cover it in class on the week of the exam. So here's the practice test. Here's where you find your PowerPoints. Here's the solution to that. Everything can be found under the modules. Now I want to discuss my open map. So what do you do? Right on the left navigation bar, modules, the very first one, if you click on it, class, you make up a username and password. Then you sign in if you have an account. or you create an account. So I'm assuming you can create an account so you don't need a course ID. I'm going to repeat. There is no need for course ID because you are starting with Canvas. So in Canvas under the module. So when that happens, it'll bring you to My Open Math. What do we find under My Open Math? Let me quickly explain it to you, and then we look at the mandatory sum. The very first one is Introduction to My Open Math. The purpose of that is to let you know how you deal with My Open Math, how to navigate My Open Math. The second one is Algebra Review. Algebra Review, and they do have due dates immediately. You got to start right now, and we're going to discuss that after these recordings. The purpose of Algebra Review is to let you know where you stand as far as your prior knowledge of mathematics is concerned. So in case you find an area which is not as good as you expect, you can practice a little bit. And you're more than welcome to ask me. I have a lot of resources that I can offer you. Exams and quizzes. For now, you don't have to worry about it, but this is where you find the exams and quizzes, and the very first quiz is coming up soon. Then you see course description, all contents in the course modules folders, which include videos and sets of homework exercises. Some videos are embedded within the homework, and some can be found at the beginning of the chapter. So you have everything that you need here. And notice the very first homework is this one and this one and so on. Quizzes, we have weekly quizzes. I want to explain about this set of homework. This is the set of homework that is due for the first module. Please do them on a daily basis. The section I finished, that is the section you can do the homework. If you wait until the due date, you're going to have a hard time finishing it. So what do we find after that? Let me minimize everything. First, you find Module 0. Module 0 is just a lot of resources. For example, your text. So you can find your text here. You don't have to purchase anything. You can just use the PDF file or just view it online. Okay, you can view it online. Okay, so that's your book, and you can find everything that you need as far as your book is right here. Then there's information about late pass, how to use a late pass, calendar. There's some PDF file here. And over here, remember I put some free online calculators under the syllabus. You can also find them here. This specific one, Desmos, has scientific calculator as well as graphic calculator. And there are some videos explaining how to use it. So again, these are all under Module 0. Everything is for free, okay? And what else I put there? Under Module 0, please pay attention. I have chapter review, pre-calculus review. There is a lot of review stuff here. If you feel uncomfortable with any part when you take the algebra review, this is the place you can find information you need. For example, factoring, inverse functions, trig functions, basic class of functions, review of functions, and so forth. So under Module 0, what do you find? A lot of resources. The course, just like in Canvas, starts with Module 1. And the very first section, 1.6. What do you find here? You find references for texts. You find references for videos. And then you start your homework. Now, if you've gone through everything, you've gone through the PowerPoint, you feel very comfortable, you can start right here. And when you start here, that's your homework. Okay, so this is actually the first homework of the first module. However, before that, we have to do mandatory assignment, introduction to my open math, which is due immediately. So how does it work? You just click on it and you put in the information. So again, this is just to get you familiar with this my open math, with this digital platform. So for example, here it says enter this number. And as soon as you click on it, a palette opens, for example, if you need to use a fraction, square root, and so forth. So over here it says enter 16.5897. So you enter. That's it. Then it says rounded to the nearest hundreds. That means the second decimal 8. So you put 16.5. 8 next to it is 9, so it goes up, becomes 9, because if the number is 5 or larger next to it, so the number next to it is 9. Any number larger than 5, you go up. Divide by 0, we can't divide by 0, okay? It's really undefined. They don't have it. You put DNE, does not exist, DNE. So you submit the question, and notice when you submit the question, it check marks, it makes a note of your grade. If I go with this one, 1/3, we know it's 0.3 bar, and it says minimum 4 decimals. Okay, you want to pay attention to that. Let me just answer it wrong, 0.2. I want to make a point, and I submit. So when you make a mistake, it's not a big deal. Get a similar question and do that. It gives you a number of times until you get it right. It happened to give us the same 1/3. It's 0.3 bar. Remember that. So I'm going to put a bunch of 3s and submit, check mark. And I continue with the rest of it. Okay. So something comes up. The first couple of questions I've done, I can't continue. I'm going to click on done. Notice what happens. You see, it says the first 2 questions are right. The rest of them are unattempted. I can resume as long as it's not expired. So before the expiration date. And if it expires, then those 2, the percentage that they give me, that which is 10% of that, is my final grade for this assignment. So you don't have to do anything else. So I'm going to exit, and I can back to submit. So a quick recap of what we've done. Here's the homepage of Canvas. Number 1, a welcome message. Number 2, philosophy of the course. Number 3, announcements will be emailed to you. So if you miss them, go back to announcements and get them. Then number 4, and before we go number 4, at the bottom of the page, this is the office hours Zoom meeting. The left navigation bar right here, you find the Zoom meeting for the course. Now, under the modules, everything can be found right then and there. Discussion forum, put the student bio for the modules. The very first one is your digital platform. This is the recorded lectures. And for now, we are concerned with this exam 1 module, which covers the section mentioned here. First, you have the practice test. Then you have all the PowerPoints. You don't have to write anything during the class except the solution to the examples. We go over that step by step. The last one is the solution to this practice test and more to get you ready for the exam. So going back to the home page, what did we do? We went to My Open Math. My Open Math Module 0 has all the free resources, and Module 1 is where the homework begins, starting with 1.6. But to get us familiar with the course, at the very top, we have the mandatory assignment for My Open Math. And then we have the algebra review. If we feel uncomfortable with the algebra review, after we are done, we also have under module 0, This has all the free resources. We have chapter review. These are the review chapters that will help us with the algebra if need be. Well, I wish you all happy studying and best of luck. All right. I believe I want to make sure the recording didn't stop. What is that?